part of the education. I'm Samir Malik. I'm your Sergeant at Arms for Excalibur Online Global Speakers. A little bit of housekeeping. Uh, you know, uh, Please manage your microphone. If you're not speaking or supporting one of our speakers or functionaries, please try to keep it on mute so we have background noise to a minimum. In terms of emergencies, you know where you are better and you know what's safe for you. So if you got to run, you got to take care of yourself, do so. And the rest of us will continue on as best and hope that you stay safe. So if you need to stay safe, please stay safe. Now, in terms of facilities, I hope you know where to go in your own location. If you do need to go, turn off the camera, go on mute, especially if you're going to take your device with you, because we do not want to share in that experience with you. Now, throughout the meeting, we'll have speakers, please use jazz hands, applause. If you can, use those reactions, share the love with our speakers. Could you guys just practice that right now? Maybe find clapping hands or put some hearts in your background. And this is how we're going to show the love for our speakers, show our appreciation and encouragement for all the speakers. I love it. You're all doing it. This is brilliant. So jazz hands, clapping, all of that. Now, our dear President, Andrew Bennett, is off somewhere on holiday, possibly last I heard in Havana, Miami, having a wonderful time. But he has left us in the capable hands of our Vice President of Education. Please welcome today's presiding officer, John Akers.
Thank you, Samir. Thank you, Mr. Sergeant at Arms, and welcome along, everyone, to this meeting of Excalibur Online Global Speakers. As Samir said, Andrew, our real president, is away on holiday, I think a much-deserved holiday in Miami and other places on a cruise, and I'm taking over just for the purposes of tonight only. So you'll only have to put up with me as president for one meeting. There's that about it. So the theme of our meeting is Spring is in the Air. Why have I chosen this? It's simply because we're in March now and spring is on the way. The 20th of March, I believe, is the first day of spring. So you might like to keep that theme of the meeting in mind when you come on stage to do any kind of role or give any sort of speech. If you want to refer to spring in any context whatsoever, that's great. So I'm not going to delay the meeting any longer. We started a bit late, but that's okay. We'll just finish a bit late and we'll get everything done. Everyone will get a chance to do all their roles. All the speeches will be done. And we've got some great speakers and evaluators lined up for you today. And we also have a very experienced Toastmaster to be our Toastmaster, and that is Sue Mannering. So, Sue, will you please come to the stage and start the role as Toastmaster? Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Right, so spring is in the air, and certainly in London today, at least, the sun has been shining on me, and it's on my birthday. I thought, what a lovely way to start the day. And now it's nighttime, but it was sunny until it became dark. I hope the sun is shining, whatever countries you're in at the moment, unless, of course, like now, for me, it's nighttime. And it's lovely to be your Toastmaster tonight. And I would like, as John said, we have a fantastic program ahead of us. Now, when I introduce you, if you have a role, you'll have some thinking time, hopefully, here. I'll be asking you, what is your best birthday memory? Your best birthday memory. Okay? So my best birthday memory was when I turned 50 and I went on a river cruise of Spain with my friend who turned 60. And it was fabulous. I mean, I haven't done it again since, admittedly, but it was relaxing, it was educational, it was sociable. I love my food, it was tasty. And I'm not going to go on any longer about this as we're running late, but just to give you an idea, that was my favourite birthday celebration. And over to you when I ask when you have a role. And speaking of roles, I don't know if we have any guests, but John is also our meet and greet. Do we have any guests tonight, John, you'd like to greet?
Thank you, Sue. I don't think we do have any guests. I think everyone is a member or a prospective member. OG is waving her hand, but she's going to be a member or she's about to be a member. Isn't that right, OG? But have a word with us if you like.
How about, okay, just tell us what one or two sentences maximum, how you feel about joining this group.
How do you feel about joining the group, OG?
Well, I'm looking forward to it because I know a couple of good guys who are here, and I expect that this is a really good group. Experienced, oldest advanced Toastmaster Club in London. I'm really looking forward to the breadth, the depth of experience. I can already see that we have people from around the world. Reminds me of my good old days with Firebirds. So I'm looking forward to joining. Thank you.
Thank you, OG. I don't think we have any more guests this evening, but OG is going to be an evaluator, a speech evaluator later on. So she's almost.
Okay, right.
Right, so I'll pass back to you.
I would now like to welcome our very, how can I put this? Marq made a very big impression on me the first time I heard him speak. So a very eloquent speaker is going to be our timekeeper tonight. And first of all, before he explains timekeeping, I'd like Marq to tell us about his most memorable birthday.
But before I talk about my most memorable birthday, as Vice President of Membership, I would like to remind all of our potential members, prospective members, to return your application, and all of our members, even our transferring members, to pay your dues because you're not all on the list yet. So return your application. You know who you are. And now to my most memorable birthday. I was 5 years old, and I received a gift from my parents, a Zorro kit. For those of you who don't know who Zorro is sort of a Southern Californian, early California Spanish days, a Robin Hood of the time. And he had a black mask and a sword. And my sword, and he would go around carving Z's into everything. My sword had a piece of chalk on the end. And every square inch of every fence around my house had a Z on it. I should have put an M, but I wasn't thinking about that. Yet El Zorro, from early California days of the Spanish California, was that gift. I still love it. And it might have been why I went into competitive fencing.
Oh, right. Lovely. Thank you so much, Marq. And now explain the timekeeping role.
A good speaker, one of the most important aspects of a good speaker is knowing to speak within an allocated time. I will be sharing with you in a moment your times as they come up. You will get green when you've come to the, as we all know, come to the minimum amount of time. Yellow is a warning, and red, my screen will turn red, and you will end your speech at that time. As far as the different time amounts, they are on the agenda, and we will likely mention those as we go into those sections. Back. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Marq. And now, to introduce his table topics, but first his best birthday memory, please welcome once again the erudite Samir.
Sorry, Sue, I'm confused. I was one of the few who gave you my birthday.
No, I'm sorry. What I was going to say was I normally print these things out. I don't keep them on the phone. And I don't know what's happened with my phone. We had a power cut today. At least we're still here. So I actually said, you weren't listening because you were preoccupied with the problems. And I said, everyone's going to have to just give it themselves.
I'm with you. I'm back on track. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Samir Malik, my favorite birthday memory was my 50th birthday. I went to Oxford to the Eagle and Child where the Inklings, J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis used to collaborate on their works of fiction. And I tapped into that creative energy and I wrote a poem called The Shape of Time. And that was my favorite birthday. And now, as Table Topics Master today, I am really looking forward to providing you with this opportunity to exercise our communication skills. You know, we're an advanced club and we've got the chops. We know how to write and deliver speeches. With Table Topics, we get to put all of that into practice with a topic given off the cuff. So you can give us an opening, a middle, a conclusion, perhaps even a call to action. Be as creative as you will be. The only thing that you won't have until I call your name is the topic. So anyone could be selected. I have around 6 topics, but so if you want to recoup some time, I could limit it to 3 if you like. Possibly 4.
Let's see how long people take to answer. I mean,
okay.
Theoretically, we've got till what time?
All right.
Till 7:32, which is maybe we can make it. We could probably add it just to maybe, I don't know. See
okay.
How we go, yeah?
We'll see how we go. When I start stretching on the last of my topics, I'll come back to you. Or if you feel like, no, we're diving into deep territory, you can call me back. Now, I left out one thing for those guests. At Excalibur Speakers, what we do is a flash 45-second evaluation. So we're not just doing impromptu speeches, we're doing impromptu evaluations. So anyone could be called upon to evaluate one of these table topics. Now, it's spring has sprung. Now we're a global club, so it's not springing for all. For some, fall is falling because we have a southern hemisphere within today. But I've chosen that transitional space. You know, whether you're shifting from winter into summer through spring, or from summer into, I had it all. Help me out here. What's the other direction? It's from summer to winter, then you're going through fall. Whichever way, you're traveling through a luminal space. It's the transition. It's that moment between the inhale and the exhale. So these topics will explore some of these transitional spaces. The first topic, spring is springing. You know, Anne's got it in the background. She's got those flowers right there. It's the blooming. How do you mark this transition of spring? Please welcome to the screen, Sema.
Thank you so much, Samir. How do I mark the transition into spring? Have I got the question right? Perfect. Spring for me is a time where when I go out for walks in the nearby park, I hear birds chirping. Spring is a time when in the morning I'm woken up by the birds rather than the alarm. And there's light coming through the window, because the last probably 4 or 5 months, I'm so used to switching on the light at 8 o'clock in the morning and it's still dark. But now at 6:30, I've got a dawn light coming through the window. And that just brings a little sprightliness in my step. You know, when you have the wet dew on the grass as you're walking through the park, rather than the crunchiness of the leaves that you usually experience during winter and autumn, it just gives a feeling of hope, I would say, and something that you work towards. That, you know, the next bit is summer, so it gives a feeling of the days are getting longer. You have more time with you to spend rather than in winter. So for me, spring is a sign of starting something new. Spring is a sign of venturing into a new project, building on myself, making a better me, a better Sema than what I was during winter. So that's what spring is all about for me. Thank you, and back to you, Samir.
Thank you so much, Sema. Flipping to more daylight in there and recalling having that reminiscence on the crunch of those leaves underfoot. I love these images. Now, to tell us more about how well Sema did, to give some feedback, 45-second evaluation, can I call to the screen none other than Carmel Turley? Will you join us? Please come off mute. Going once, going twice, and we'll move on to another evaluator. I wonder if we could have feedback from Sophia. Sophia, would you care to give Sema some feedback on her speech? 45 seconds, please. Thank you.
Yeah. That's really interesting to see how the Sema's the understanding of her reflection on the transitioning into the spring. Because the place where we are in currently are different, so everyone's feeling is different from each other. But the thing that she's expecting the how the spring likes for her is kind of resonating everyone, because everyone is expecting something very different. So she has kind of using her both the not only imagination but also the reality in London where she lives. I think that's kind of very using the thing in natural, the birds using very the concrete, the words to understand this, and also her body languages. I really liked since this online meeting. Yeah, that's really kind of a good thing for me to understand the London, how the London the spirit like now.
Thank you, Sophia. As you may have seen in the chat, it's not only springing into spring. You know, there's a liminal space between winter and summer, between winter, yeah, between winter and between summer and winter. And that is autumn, or as we say in the States, fall. So to tell us about what they enjoy and how they mark the transition when fall is falling, please welcome to the screen, Agnes Boskovitz.
Season of mists and mellow fruitfulness. We're just heading towards winter. We've had the hottest summer for a long time, many days in the 40s. So and I'm still in the short sleeves. It's starting to show some little signs of the coming winter. And autumn in Canberra is the most beautiful season, I should say, not just month, but season, because it's not too hot, it's not too cold. The flowers are still out. There's some signs of autumn, a few leaves falling. My fig tree out in my garden is overloaded, and it's a race between me and the birds to who gets what off my fig tree. But I'm actually quite happy for the birds to get many, because they are so beautiful, sitting in the fig tree munching on these figs. And I have a surplus anyway. I don't know what to do with them all. All I do is freeze them and wait until my stomach can cope with a few more. So autumn, the season that takes you from hot summer to cold winter, is the most beautiful in Canberra, and I recommend it to anyone. If ever you come to Canberra, try and come in March, April. March, April is the best. May is okay too. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
I want to take up your invitation, Agnes, to visit you in Canberra and see the birds eating the figs and help you with some of that surplus. Now, to give you some feedback with a flash evaluation, 45 seconds long. I see her on the screen now. Carmel, are you willing to take this up and give Agnes some feedback? You'll need to unmute. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Samir. Agnes, I really liked your description of everything at this time of the year, but I suppose what I especially liked was the invitation at the end and the fact that you said March and April is the best time to go. I wouldn't have known that. So that's my takeaway, and I thought that was very effective really at the end. And yeah, great descriptive language. I really liked it. And yeah, that's what I liked.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Carmel. Short, sweet, to the point, and encouraging. This is how we like our evaluations. Next up, we have another topic. Now, this could be any of you. I may even go to some of those evaluators, who knows. Transitions, liminal spaces. I talked about it in the opening. There's that liminal space between when you inhale and when you exhale. What is the power of that liminal space when we're breathing? Can I invite to the screen Pemma Fox?
Thank you, Mr. Topics Master. Transitions. We inhale, then we exhale. In between, in that transition, a world happens. A world of subliminal bliss, or stress, or the thinking about what our Topics Master did, unconfusing the hemispheres. All of that goes through our minds. But the beauty of it is, and the importance of it is getting oxygen into our systems on the inhale and exhaling what we don't need. So basically, we inhale the summer, hold the autumn, and then exhale the winter. In that, we can inhale Anne Bingham's cherry blossoms, beautiful blossoms behind her. I can hold the fact that I'm on the green, and that what does that give me? Spring, lemons, grapes, whatever. And then waiting, as I'm holding this space there, I'm waiting for the red to tell me I'm in hot water and I need to get off here pretty quickly. So spring is the best season for me. I'm yellow, and that is, the spring is about yellow, it's about sunshine, inhaling that, the liminal space. From that, we're going into the next season. And within that, a whole world has happened within us as we've breathed in fresh air. And now we exhale all the stress before the red is upon us again. And then we have to start to inhale. Thank you. And on that breath, thank you, Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you, Pemma. I love the play of the colors with the timing signals woven into those spaces. To give us feedback on this speech, can I please invite none other than OG to the screen?
Thank you, Pemma. You got me breathing, holding, exhaling. But I said, wait a minute. Did you mean breathe throughout the summer, hold in the autumn, and exhale? And then you got me imagining, how would you do that? And then I realized you were telling a story. You were giving an example You're carrying us along. You don't expect us to die in the process. So thank you for holding my attention, for using colors, for using something that seems unachievable to let us know that, yes, it's okay to breathe, to hold, to exhale, let the stress out. And that's the core of transitions. One step at a time, one breath at a time, everything is going to be okay. Thank you, Pemma. You held our attention so well. Such a good job.
Samir, what you asked me earlier, we've now gone 6 minutes over, which is fine. Should we leave it at that or make the meeting later and have one more topic? You guys just vote with your hands. I don't mind what you decide.
I love the idea of getting us back on track, but if there is an appetite, I've got one or two more.
Well, let's just say one more if you have the appetite.
I'll have to leave, so I prefer the meeting to stay on time if possible.
Okay, in that case, we'll respect you and from joining us from Australia. Thank you.
So, all of our table topic speakers, and with that, I will hand back to our Toastmaster meeting. Thank you so much, Sue.
Thank you very much, Samir. Okay. Right, this is where we're going to ask Marq for the time that everyone spoke for, and after that we're going to ask you all to vote for, of the three speakers, the best speaker. Thank you. Over to Marq.
For a table topic, speakers, Sema spoke for 1 minute 49 seconds, Agnes 1:29, and Pemma 2:01. Our evaluators, Sophia spoke for 1:24, Carmel 26 seconds, and OG 54 seconds.
Thank you very much, Marq. Okay, how are we doing voting? Do we have the drop-down list, or do we click, or do we send them to John?
I'm gonna have a link in the chat. So the link is there if you want to vote for best table topic speaker. We'll begin.
I don't know what's happened to my screen. I'm trying to get the chat section. Ugh.
What kind of device are you on? Perhaps I can help you.
Well, I have always managed to previously. This is the first time. It's a laptop, but anyway, this is the first time I've just realized my screen isn't showing me gallery. I'm on gallery, but anyway.
If you
I normally am on gallery.
Go down towards the bottom, you might see the chat.
I can see
to the
chat.
left of the chair.
Oh, it's now it's okay. It's popped. I've popped it up now. Sorry, it was normally automatic. Okay.
Just watching the responses. I have 8 in so far.
I'm just scrolling down to where you sent it. Where did you send it?
On
chat. Sorry, what time? Well, why can't I see it? This is crazy.
If you go down to the bottom,
Oh, is it the HTTPS forms?
That's it.
I know it's okay because I can see other messages below it, so I didn't see it initially. There's loads of messages since then from Sophia and other people, if you have a look.
Allow me to just say something. I've noticed Sophia can't access Google Forms. So Sophia,
I'm private messaging her.
Oh, right, that's great. Thank you, Samir.
Include it with the tally.
Oh, God.
I have 12 responses out of 15 participants.
And now I'm trying to get back to the screen. This is so sorry about this. Oh, God. Okay, I don't normally have this problem either, but there we go.
I think the results are pretty
outstanding. I'm back. Okay.
Two more results won't make too much of a difference. So I will message you, John, with the results. You can announce it at the end.
Okay, lovely. Okay, thank you. And now it's time to welcome our first prepared speaker, as in first prepared speech. As you know, if you can see your agenda, our first speaker will be Marq with a speech entitled The Answer. Before we hear from Marq's speech, The Answer, Marq, over to you for your favorite birthday memory, please.
Thank you, Sue. My best birthday memory is when I was 10 years old, I used to celebrate at my parents' house. Of course, I was 10 years old. And we had this big terrace. And I celebrate in May, 30th of May, which is one step into summer almost. And I remember all my friends coming there and having fun. So for me, it was still in a moment without smartphones, and we start to play normal games that he used to do before that were more handy, you know. So this is my memory.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And now we'd like to hear your speech, the answer from the Engaging Humor Project.
I wake up in a hostel 5 a.m. with 12 strangers. It smells like beer, vodka, and farts. I can't sleep because I have 12 hours left. Yes, friends, by 5 p.m., I will be homeless. I'm in Dublin, away from my family, but still needing them, as usual. I grew up in a small town in the south of Italy, trapped in a safety net on my family. It's not weird in Italy to live at your parents' house for 40 years. Forget about mafia. We are big mama's boys. But after graduation, I want to build my own life, starting with my career. So I told my dad, Dad, I'm leaving. And he told me, oh no. I took all my savings and I flew to Dublin. 1 month in Dublin, I can't find accommodation. I can't find a job. I can't speak English. Thanks God, people think Italian is sexy. I have 300 euro to my name. I know it sounds like a lot, but Dublin is a ripoff. This hostel with 12 strangers cost me 12 euros. You know, 1 euro per fart. But tomorrow will be 50 euros because of Alcoholics Day. St. Patrick Day. 10 hours left until I'm homeless. I hear a voice, call your parents. But I take my laptop and I sign up on Facebook host family group. I need a bed desperately by today. Nobody responds for 2 hours. 8 hours left until I'm homeless. I receive a message. Maria says, you can come to my place at 1 p.m. Guys, I don't think you fully understand how special it is for an Italian man to be saved by a lady named Maria. Hope. Relief. I drag my 2 suitcases to Starbucks to meet Maria. And as I get there, another message. I'm sorry, Mirko. I can't host you anymore. Of course, Maria doesn't care if I sleep in a bed or in a manger. It's the first time today I felt myself to start to panic. I hear that voice again, call your parents. But the only thing I'm able to do is to plug in my laptop to charge it because I don't know if the place where I will sleep tonight has electricity. 1 p.m., 4 hours left until I'm homeless. I step out onto the streets of Dublin. And as I walk around, going everywhere and nowhere at the same time, I think about my parents. I desperately want to call them because I never been able to face life on my own. And it's a horrible feeling having to choose between fear and shame. But it is something that gives me comfort. And it's the knowledge that while I'm dragging 2 suitcases through the streets, They were dragging 2 children through life without the safety net or money or connections. Yes, maybe it's in my blood to meet the challenge. So I decided to do something crazy. I go to the district business where rich people hang out, because rich people have apartments. In a ocean of smart casual, newspaper, cigarettes, there is a little Mirko with 2 big suitcases. A middle-aged lady looks at me and says, "Excuse me, sir, are you okay? You seem lost." 2 hours left until I'm homeless. I'm looking for a bed. I have a room, but why should I give it to you? Guys, best table topic ever. At my new home, I drop my 2 suitcases and go to the mirror and I start to cry. Because for the first time, I didn't look for someone to solve my problem. I became the answer. Friends, life is easier when we are not responsible for the answers, when we can find someone to call it, to fix it, to decide, to rescue us. Expert, friends, parents, even ChatGPT. You don't grow when someone answers for you. You grow when you find the answer for yourself. And when you do, you stop waiting, you stop hesitating, you start moving. I know this firsthand, because even though I found an apartment, I still didn't have a job. Same problem, different Mirko. Life will give you problem. Before you look for someone, look at yourself first. Trust that you are enough to meet the challenge. You don't grow when someone answers for you. You grow when you find the answer for yourself.
Thank you very much, Mirko, for that emotional journey you took and sharing it with us. And I would now like to give people the chance to write any feedback to Mirko. And that will be 1 minute, as you know, Mr. Timekeeper. Almost. I wasn't being impatient. Sorry, I thought you might. Never mind. Okay, moving on. I would now like to welcome our second speaker. Our second speaker is Palavi, with a speech called "My Journey from Voice to Impact" from the Persuasive Influence Project. Before we hear her speech, would Palavi like to share her best birthday memory with us?
Good evening, everybody. So thank you for that question. I was dying to answer it when you were asking it earlier in the meeting. So my favorite memory is birthday memory is when I turned 13. So the story goes, everybody has, everybody's first birthday. I know it's not memorable, but it's memorable because of the pictures. Now, somehow, I never had those pictures in the family albums, the big family albums. I never had those. And my constant complaint for my mom was, did you not celebrate my birthday? And she goes, well, I lost my uncle on your first birthday, near about the same time. We didn't quite celebrate it. And can you imagine? I had this complaint with her to say she didn't celebrate my birthday. But when I was 13, I was in my place of birth, and there was a big celebration going on. I think it was somebody's wedding, and every imaginable family member were present. And then my mom threw the best surprise birthday party. We had about 100 people attending that at one place. And I still have those pictures. And my mom said, here you go. That's your first birthday party. And you got to attend it and you remember this. So that's my favorite memory.
Love that story. And I understand why you were keen to share it with us. So now we'd love to hear your speech to repeat again, my journey from voice to impact. Palavi.
From the cradle to the cubicle, we are taught a maxim: play to win. We are conditioned to focus relentlessly on our shortcomings, on our weaknesses, from teachers marking our homeworks to managers saying, you could do better. But 3 years ago, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, I decided to stop fixating on my shortcomings and focusing on my strengths. I was exposed to Gallup's Strength Finder, a tool which talks about 34 different strengths that people have. And Don Clifton, the psychologist, say, play to your strengths, maximize your impact. And when I did that, I realized my top three strengths were ideation, all about big ideas, new ideas, doing the innovative stuff. Second was about activator. I can rally forces to get things done. That's my strength. And the third one was focus. Focus was all about removing distractions. I'm pretty good if I just make up my mind and set my mind to something. And so I decided that my second pathway is going to be persuasive influence, because that's what Toastmaster International said. The goals are being innovative communicator, not just a leader, but to negotiate positive outcomes. And what better an activator can come to help? Building strong interpersonal communication, which was obviously in my sweet spot because I'm a learning professional. That was my day job. I thought that's easy. And then dealing with complex situations, but also coming up with innovation solutions to find challenges. This path actually culminates into a high performance leadership and several supporting community events, taking part, giving a public speech. And I thought, oh my God, this is perfect. This is for me. So today I'm going to talk about reflecting on my pathways, but as I talk about it, I remember all those projects that I've done, all the speeches I've given, and all the feedback that I've received. So I'm trying to cram them into the speech so that you are able to experience the persuasive influence pathway and how powerful it can be for somebody who wants to go from being an excellent communicator to somebody who can make a positive difference for people. I'm going to talk about 4 different areas of my life as I talk through. So first one, obviously internal, starts with a personal journey. Now, before you can influence others, you need to master your own voice, not just communicating, but being able to understood. Throughout my life growing up, I had this imposter syndrome. I had the speech written probably years before talking about my struggle. And I said it as a humorous speech in one of the contests. I said, in my life, I try to wear glasses. I try to wear jackets so that I could appear more in command and avoid the gift of unsolicited advice, which I'm a very generous receptive of. You know, people say face your problems, but then I thought, oh, my face is a problem. That's why I get all these advice. But really, the Persuasive Influence projects helped shine the light on the things that really build confidence. It was not about appearances. It was not about how I said my sentences. It was more about the belief that I had that I can help people, the gratitude I have for the people around me, for what's possible and what I'm gifted with. And I also learned about a book, which I'm sure most of you have heard about, Atomic Habits by James Clear. And the message I took was, you know, all your confidence, all your outcomes are really a lagging indicator of your self-respect, of the changes you make, about the tiny, tiny changes that you make. We really can become from good communicators and leadership behaviors are when you have a deepest layer of personal behavioral change that comes from your identity of who you are. And who you are actually driven by what you can do. And that's how you can link everything to your purpose. Let's talk about my work environment. I work in a global tech organization. I'm a learning professional. And I have done probably thousands and 10,000s, probably learning hours and learning sessions for people. But it became increasingly clear to me that in the 70s, when people were hired for physical manual work, we had the same expectations of people. We had the same expectations of our managers to get performances. But then every survey after survey, what you hear is 70% people are disengaged at work. Why do we struggle with our outcomes? It's because people are not engaged. What do we need to engage? We need coaching. But looking at the coaching market, not now, maybe 3 years ago, coaching was for senior leadership, vice presidents, directors. And my question to everybody was, why? Why isn't coaching available to people like you and me? Imagine having a partner who can help you unstuck your mind, help you with your mindset, help you with your confidence, your motivation, your morale to fix things at work. Because guess what? 50% problems are interpersonal. 50% problems are conflict management. 50% of the problems are really about working together in this really global environment where people are sitting in different locations and getting to work. So I did a speech where I challenged my leadership to say, let's democratize coaching. Let's ask people to be their fearless best. And it was a journey for me because as learning development people, I love talking and I can really talk in slide decks for ages. But coaching taught me to shut my inner dialogue because I wanted to listen to the other person. So it helped my listening skills. It taught me to give up judgments, to be a non-judgmental person, to help people come up with their own solutions. Because guess what? As it's said in coaching, people like their ideas. Why? Because ideas are like children. You always like yours over your neighbors, right? Really easy. Easy to do stuff at work. Well, at least I find it easy to do stuff at work. But how do I extend my influence outside where I do not have a designation? I don't have a sponsorship. It's to step into the community. And 3 years ago, me and my husband, we started a musical traditional group band, we were helping, the community members learn a traditional instrument, which is made of drums, percussion instruments. And we got that going. And it was really hard because I was using only influence. All I had was influence, my coaching skills, my training skills. It was not about paycheck. There was no money. It was just getting people engaged, enthusiastic, learn something new, go and perform in events, at times free of cost, putting their own money. Just like Toastmasters, actually, here. Anybody tried running a club? Well, when you know it, how hard it is. And that's what I did. And it was such a great learning experience about motivating people and getting them alongside you. I did something else. Knowing about this, my organization said, hey, we're forming an employee group for Asians. Would you like to join? Oh, I said, yes. And then nothing happened. I said, oh, would you like to lead it? I was like, oh, okay. Maybe they trust me to do that. So I stepped up, trying to celebrate the Diwali, Lunar New Year, Eid for the very first time in my organization. What a fabulous experience, talking about cross-cultural awareness, bringing culture to each other and helping build that community spirit. It was fantastic. I enjoyed it. Now let's look at this third part of my area. Let's talk about Toastmasters, District 91. By this time, I had been area director twice. Any of you been an area director? Do you know how hard it is to organize a contest? Yeah, you know it. I did that. And guess what? I just love doing it still. But it was my time to get people to step up. And I wrote a project called Beyond the Club Agenda. Because we were in the club, we were really struggling to get people even to be part of the committee, the club leadership. And I thought, no, I could go and do what I normally do in organizations. It's really easy to voluntold. It is really easy to say, I'm from HR, you need to do this because we want to do a club. No, I chose to coach. I chose to encourage people to look for a purpose, to grow their influence in the business, to network. And finally, there was this project. I was invited to give a speech at a London Tangent Women's gala celebration, 25 years. I was after dinner speaker. And guess what speech I chose? I chose my imposter syndrome speech. I kept the humorous things, but I also talked about what I learned. I turned how self-belief, your confidence, your gratitude, your ability to do hard things while nobody's watching into confidence. And then finally, I know Sema is here, which is obviously great because I also did the corporate club officer training project for her, which was my high performance leadership project. And it was a great experience because by that time I had learned if you spoon feed people, the only thing they learn is the shape of the spoon. So I was fortunate enough to be able to put my stamp on a process, on creating trainers, on creating materials that were able to build, really solid, robust club leadership for District 91. And in conclusion, I want to say that every action you take is a vote for the person you wish to become. So I invite everybody today to cast that vote, embrace the compounding interest of your daily habits, and make that one change to becoming a person of influence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Palavi, for your reflecting on your path as you have. And I would now, of course, like to invite everyone to give 1 minute, up to 1 minute's worth of feedback. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Right, your minute is over. Right. Our next speaker is previous president of Online Excalibur, for those who don't know, Beverly. Blonde Beverly on this occasion. It's a while since I've seen you, but yeah, you're blonde now. I seem to recall this is relevant, however, to me now inviting you to please give us, sorry, I haven't been sleeping well, give us your best memory birthday-wise. Over to Beverly for her story.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster Sue. My best birthday so far was last Sunday. I turned 72. I woke up, I wasn't in the obituaries. Way to go. My speech is actually going to be 10 to 15 or 8 to 10 instead of 10 to 15.
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark, for adjusting. I appreciate that. And I believe Sema, who is my evaluator, is going to bring me on with a stellar introduction. Sema, please.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Beverly. It's my pleasure to introduce Beverly to present her speech. She is going to speak about her speech title is Keeping the Commitment, and this is from Engaging Humor Level 3. This week, some of you may have seen a post where a blonde Beverly gave a lovely invitation for today's meeting. With no disrespect to any blondes anywhere in the world, I just wanted to add, in keeping with her blondness, she announced the wrong time to Americans to tune in. So, Zoom Master, please be alert for the possible sound of someone knocking at your door an hour late. Her speech title is Keeping the Commitment. Coming to us from her own personal time zone is Distinguished Toastmaster Beverly Weiss. Over to you, Beverly.
On my honor, I will try to do my duty to God and my country, to help other people at all times, and to obey the Girl Scout laws. Wrong promise. The Toastmaster's promise is considerably longer, and we've all made it. Okay, most of us a very long time ago and many, many, many meetings ago. But behind each of us stands, there it is, the Toastmaster's promise. Possibly backwards, I'm not sure how it's coming out on your screen. Good, thank you, Samir. Yay, there's the Toastmaster's promise. No, you don't have to read it. I'm going to tell you what it is. The Toastmaster's promise has 3 sections and 10, 11, 12, 24 different aspects. So let's talk about what we promised. Now, when we started off and first made this promise, we were newbies. We were new to Toastmasters and really trying hard to follow those those different parts of the promise. Most of us are quite advanced, some of us, Toastmasters, and it's a little different. So let's start with the first promise. I promised to attend club meetings regularly. Now, for a newbie, that means check the time, put it in my calendar, and figure out what to wear. For us advanced Toastmasters, it often means check the time zone, set the alarm, and wonder if anyone's going to notice that I'm wearing my pajamas. Second promise. I promise to prepare all of my projects to the best of my ability, basing them on the Toastmasters education program, or what we used to call the manuals. See, you're advanced. You know what the manuals are. So as a newbie, you log on to the Toastmasters website, find your next project, and you construct your speech and you rehearse it. As an advanced Toastmaster, you try to log on, realize TI has changed the logon process again. You can't get on, you can't find baseline or base camp, but what the heck? You started a new pathway, you know it starts with an icebreaker. Now you have to come up with 4 to 6 minutes of new information per people who already know your deepest, darkest secrets. Third promise. I promise to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments. Okay, I need to take a role. The newbie says, what looks easiest? I'll be the timer. That's got to be the easiest. Right, Marq? Okay, let's see. How do I get those wonderful backgrounds they have? For an advanced Toastmaster, oh no, the VPE just told me to be the timer for this. Hardest job on the planet. And I never did figure out how to upload those green, yellow, and red backgrounds. Where's my fruit bowl? Next promise. I promise to provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations. As a newbie, you're thinking, oh my gosh, that was so good. I can't imagine how to come up with anything constructive for my evaluation sandwich. As an advanced Toastmaster, you're going, oh, that was a train wreck. He went overtime, he garbled, he wandered, he wasn't anywhere close to the topic he was supposed to be on. How can I make this constructive? Well, he's still making that same grammatical mistake he's always making. Okay, +1 for consistency. Next promise. I promise to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow. Oh yeah, as a newbie, you're thinking, okay, there's that new person there who isn't talking much. Let me see if I can talk them up and bring them out. As an advanced person, you're going, okay, that was I didn't log on early. I didn't gee, I can't wow, okay. Maybe I should just go on to the next. Okay. Next promise. To serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so. Newbie. Oh, gee, I wonder if I could possibly, I wonder if they would accept me as president. I wonder if they trust me to be the next president. Advanced. Well, I've been every club officer except president. No one trusts me to be the president. I wonder if there's any club out there desperate enough to have me as their president because I need to be president of a club in order to be part of the trio. And if I'm part of the trio, I get 3 free vacations. That's pretty cool. Next promise. I promise to treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy. Okay, I should be really very careful with my members, my new members, not to ask anything about them that I shouldn't, not to tell too much that I shouldn't. As an advanced Toastmaster, you think, okay, maybe I should stop harassing Ian for coming to the meetings just in time. Next promise. To bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits that Toastmasters membership offers. Newbie, I'm going to invite everybody I know. I'm going to put it on my Facebook page. Everyone will want to come. Advanced, well, I invited Wes to come, but when he heard that someone was going to put a time limit on his ramblings, he declined. And Karen said she couldn't understand a British accent, let alone someone from somewhere else. Okay, next promise. To adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters education and recognition programs. Newbie, okay, I have to give this speech, I have to give this, okay, I've just started another level and it's the same kind of question. I have to come up with a different speech that sounds exactly, no, I can do this. I will do a completely different speech and not use the same speech for 3 different projects. Advanced Toastmaster. If I take this one speech and tweak it a little bit, I can fit in 3 more projects in 3 weeks, and we can get our distinguished club thing on time. All right. Next promise, to act within Toastmasters' core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities. Integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Newbie is really very moved by that and really tries to live up to those core values. For us advanced Toastmasters, thank God we have Andrew as our president because he does all that for us. Madam Toastmaster.
Lovely. I know I wasn't the only one smiling and laughing during that. So thank you very much, Beverly, for entertaining us. I'll leave anything other comments to your evaluator, except of course for the written comments, which we have 1 minute to do right now. Thank you.
It worked.
Thank you very much once again, Mark, for the timekeeping. And speaking of which, of course, is now timekeeping Mark to give us the times of the last 3 speeches. Over to Mark.
Marq spoke for 6 minutes and 39 seconds. Palavi spoke 13 minutes, 12 seconds. And Bev entertained us for 8 minutes and 55 seconds.
Thank you very much, Mark. And now we would like to have the opportunity, wouldn't we, of sharing with one person to begin with anyway, until the end of the meeting, who we want to vote as best speaker. Samir, over to you.
Thank you. If you move to the chat, and make sure you go to everyone, since you may be giving feedback. You'll find a link to the form. If you select the best speaker from the options, then I'll begin tallying the results.
You put the name of Marq instead of Mirko for the first
I
time.
am so sorry for that, Mirko. I can correct that quickly. I will fix it. I'm so sorry.
No worries. Thank you for your job.
Has everyone voted? Or everyone who can vote voted?
I have 5 results in so far.
Okay.
Eight. 9 out of 14. Speakers, you can vote for each other or yourself. There is integrity in that, whether you're a new or advanced Toastmaster. We have 10 results in, and we have a clear winner at this point. So I think I don't need to wait, Sue, for all the results to come in.
Okay, lovely.
Pass it on.
Thank you, Samir. Thank you very much. Right. And now to evaluate Mirko's speech, we welcome OG, who of course is first going to share her best birthday memory.
Thank you, Sue. My best birthday memory is going to be next year. I will turn 50. So I plan to make it absolutely amazing, memorable. I don't know exactly what I would do, but I know it's going to be superb, something I've never done, someplace. Maybe I will go skydiving, shock myself into doing something I wished I could do and really, really never done. So I'm looking forward to next year to create memories. And that's my expectation for my next best birthday. It's in the future. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. Over to you.
Okay. Miracle. Spring is in the air. And it shone through your speech. It was light and nice and bubbly. Now, you were out to engage everyone with humor, and you surely did. First, I'm going to start with the humor points that came through. I was looking at the audience, and I saw them laughing at these points, €1 per fart. Maria for the Italian man, the manger, the little lady when you emulated her, and best table topics ever. So hold on to those points. You did get some smiles and laughs and giggles. You excelled at the visual journey and description. I've never been to Dublin, but somehow you took me on that journey. And I liked the expression when you say you were trapped in the safety of your family net. And you packed your bags and you were off to Dublin, and a room full of 12. You made it really visual with words. And that was really good. You excelled at that. Since you want to use this for a humor contest, you might have to find more relatable items that people can laugh at. You're already working with self-deprecation, which is good. It's always a good space to do that. So you may want to increase the number of smile and laugh points from 5 to maybe double it. And I'm sure you can do it. However, I really enjoyed this as an inspiring speech. You made it really inspirational. You wanted me to watch for clarity, for audience awareness, and for message. And for message, this was spot on. You were really inspiring towards the end. You told us about the answer. You helped us find the answer. And you told us about our approach to life, finding the answers. And you made these beautiful statements. Life is easy when we're not responsible for the answer. You don't grow when someone answers for you. You grow when you find the answer. Life will give you problems, but look inside. You are the answer. So those things were messages in themselves, inspiring. So I'd like to challenge you to think about using this speech for an inspiring speech. This could be an award winner. It sounded like it could be world-class inspirational speech because it has both the combination of the humor and the message that goes home. So you spoke well. It was clear. You excelled at that. Vocal variety when you emulated your dad and the little rich lady. That was nice. Eye contact, you were looking at the screen and making gestures with your hands. Now, audience awareness, I want to challenge you. Think about the audience you will be presenting to and see how you can customize your message to make sure that it can spread and be understood and enjoyed by the wide audience. The pace was good. You accomplished that. And the story really did show your personal narration on a journey to finding something which you shared with us. Overall, a good speech. It was well delivered. I enjoyed listening to you. And like I said, the spring sprung when you made this speech. Looking forward to your win in the area contest. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, OG. Thank you. Our next evaluator to evaluate Palavi's speech is Carmel. Carmel, please give us your best birthday memory, first of all.
I think my best birthday memory was when I was 30. I had just got married that year and we had our new house. And for my 30th birthday, we invited down all our friends, people who we hadn't seen for a few years because we'd all gone our own ways in college. They all came to our kind of new house on my birthday party. My husband gave me diamond earrings and we went out for a meal and we had a really great night. And it was only recently enough in the last year, some of those friends showed me the pictures. I'd kind of forgotten about them. And yeah, it brought back a great night and a great birthday.
Ah, fabulous. And can I just say very quickly, you know, you're from Galway. Galway is such a lovely place to be as well. Wonderful. Okay, and now I would like to hear your evaluation, please.
Okay. My journey from voice to impact. Well, I can certainly say Palavi played to her strengths, which is what she wanted to do in this speech, which was a reflection on her path. In relation to what I really liked, I thought Palavi had stunning gestures. I think they're possibly the best gestures I've ever seen anybody do. For example, when she said about talking with her hand, or she touched her heart, or she kind of said, you could do better. And she leaned in and she did this. And I really liked that gesture. Now, she had so many more. They were brilliant. She has a smiley face, which relaxes the audience and it wins us over. And I think overall she achieved the purpose of, she reflected on her path and she told us a little bit about that. In relation to recommendations, and that goes back to her gestures, I would like her to stand up because mostly we could see the hands, but there were at times they were kind of low down and I was just seeing the thumbs at one point. And I think that would really even emphasize her gestures more and she would have had a good stage presence. And my second recommendation would be in relation to content and structure. For me, there was a lot of content. I got lost between the first 3 points where she spoke about, which I really liked this part, the ideation, that she's an ideas person, she's an activator, and she's focused. And they were the 3 reasons that she decided on the persuasive influence path. But then she went in the middle and she spoke about 4 areas, and that's actually where I got lost. And I felt that was too much content. And it's good to remember that the audience only ever absorbs so much information. And that's where I would recommend repetition. If she pointed us to the first 3 points, and I think if she'd stuck with those and gone into them more in detail. Because she was covering 7 areas, is what I would say. She touched on the coaching, she touched on the musical group that she set up with her husband, and she also touched on the gala. But I would have liked to know more about the details, like what was the experience speaking at the gala for you? What did you learn from your path or bring from your path to that gala? In relation to the musical group with her husband, she did speak about the costs, and she did speak to the audience about a club experience, that it is very hard. But what else did she learn? What else? There must have been so much more. And as well, in relation to the coaching, again, how did you do it? How did you set it up? Why? Who? Where? I put in all those questions and go into more detail. I think there, in a sense, there was 2 speeches in the areas, but certainly, just to finish up, I really liked those 3 points about what type of person she is and the reason she picked persuasive influence. She certainly did play to her strengths, but her strengths are the smiley face and the gestures, but certainly less content for an audience, 2 speeches in there, but very well done, Palavi. It was really great.
Thank you, Carmel. And last but definitely not least to the evaluators, please welcome Beverly's evaluator, Sema. Lovely to see you, Sema. And we, of course, want to hear your story about a birthday. Please.
Thank you so much, Sue. So I had a big birthday quite recently, and my daughter and my husband decided to take me to Disney World. I don't know whether they thought I'm still a growing child, or or whether it was I'm too serious and I need to bring out the child in me. I didn't care. I had a fabulous time. I was pushing all the little kids away out of my way and running to the largest roller coasters and going on to the space trip with 2G4s. I loved it. So that was my birthday, and it definitely brought the child in me because I was competing with kids who were in 12 or 14 years old, and I was going on the rides.
Oh, you could do a speech on that. That was so visual. Wonderful. And okay, over to you, evaluating Beverly, please.
Thank you so much. Before I start evaluating Beverly, how many of you thought that the speech Beverly delivered had a lot of humor in it? Okay. So there it is, Beverly, you've got your feedback already. Engaging humor project level 3. Every part of the speech was very clever and entertaining. You made us all think about the promise that we did many moons ago when we started with our Toastmasters club. And I loved the way you presented it, bringing in the journey from a newbie to experienced or advanced Toastmaster. Let me start with working with what went well. First and foremost, the concept was brilliant and relatable. Right. Each one of us could identify with each Toastmaster promise. And I love the fact that Beverly brought up the promise as her background. So that was good, though we couldn't read it, but we knew that it was there and it just reminded us of that journey. And we recognized a lot of the moments, right? Whether it was coming to a meeting in pajamas or digging deep to find some more dark secrets that you can reveal. The second was the humor and the timing. That was spot on. Changing login process, going on to base camp. There's a lot of Toastmasters inside humor, which many of us as advanced Toastmasters can identify with. And your audience awareness was excellent. You knew what people would identify with and come up with common club experiences, a very conversational messaging. In terms of recommendation, I would probably suggest One, have audience interaction. So you are an experienced Toastmaster. Get all of us to give a bit of the experience or repeat the Toastmaster promise, because your title is keeping the commitment. So what is the commitment that you want us as Toastmaster members to keep with regards to the Toastmaster promise? Did we want to have a clearer concluding message? What is it that you expect all of us to do from this particular message? So maybe that could be another recommendation for you. But overall, I had a fabulous time. I kept laughing at each instance, and it was very visual. So you could actually see through that, each comment that you shared with us. Thank you so much for making us laugh, and well done on a great, engaging, humored speech. Thank you, and over to you, Sue.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Sema. And now, please welcome our fabulous timekeeper, Marq, to let us know how long the evaluations lasted.
Our evaluations came in: OG overtime at 3:41, Carmel overtime at 3:38, and Sema within the time at 2 minutes and 55 seconds.
Okay, and for the last time tonight, we are now going to vote for what we believe who we believe gave the best evaluation.
Thank you, Sue. And you'll find the link to the form in the chat to vote for best evaluator. And Mirko, I did get your name right in this one. I have half of the results in, just over half. Four more to go. Don't abstain. 3 more left. We're getting there. Waiting on 3 more, still 3 evaluators. You can vote, and you can even vote for yourself if you want, but vote with integrity. Okay, I'm going to call it with 11 responses. We do have a clear winner there. So thank you, and back to you, Sue.
Thank you very much. Okay, and now our wonderful part of the program or agenda where we have, as Excalibur, unique to us, open feedback. And to run open feedback tonight, we welcome Agnes, who, as you know, I'm going to ask you, what's your best memory of a birthday?
Thank you. I have many good memories, but I'll pick out one when my 10th birthday party. And why do I pick that out? Because my parents organised a lovely birthday party with me, for lots of friends came around, lots of girlfriends, children, and I had a particular request for what should be part of the birthday party, which was donuts. And I was very particular about the donuts. I didn't like donuts which are iced. I liked them plain with no icing. And also I liked them warm, straight out of the donut machine, donut maker. And my father this was on a Sunday, when half the shops are closed and whatever. I don't know what he did, but he went out somewhere where they were making donuts and brought home beautiful, fresh, warm donuts. And I loved it. And it's only as an adult that I realized that this wasn't simple. I'm very grateful to my father for having to go to that trouble. And I just never occurred to me, of course, when I was 10, that this was a special effort by him. So that is my favorite birthday.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh. Okay, and now over to you to run open feedback, please.
Thank you, and thank you to all our speakers. What I'll do is I'll go through each speech one by one, and I'll call on you to give feedback as you see fit about each speech, in addition to what we've already had, or maybe emphasizing the feedback we've already heard. I'll structure each one probably in the form of asking you for commendations, then asking you for recommendations, and then asking you for commendations again. And it'll just be open to whoever wants to speak, unless I decide to pick on someone, but I probably won't. I'll be kind. So let's get started. So the first speech, of course, was by Mirko on the answer. It was evaluated by OG. Would anybody like to give some commendation to that speech, please? Yes, Pemma.
We've had the pleasure of hearing this speech from Marq when he first designed it. And what I love about it now, there's lots more color in the speech, and with much more pitch, pace, and pause and passion. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Pemma, and I have to say I agree entirely. Anyone else want to give a commendation?
Yes.
Yes, Sophia.
I really enjoyed his that kind of a movie plotting style of storytelling. Very concrete, very detailed. Give us the scene. And also when he was mimicking the lady, rich lady, his sounds is quite kind of vivid as well.
Thank you very much. Now, I see Palavi's got a hand up, but we'll move on to recommendations and let Palavi wait a little bit. Any recommendation anyone wants to give? Yes, Beverly.
It's hard when you're giving a speech that you've given before to remember to pause. There are a couple of places where a little bit more of a pause, I think, would have helped get onto the next thing. It was just great, but just spend more time listening to the silence.
Any other thank you, Beverly. Any other recommendation anyone wants to give? Not many recommendations. I'll just give one little one myself. I think we didn't know where it was heading, and we only found out in the last minute or so what the point of the whole speech was. It was a beautiful story. I'd like a hint at the beginning saying something like, it's what's within you, or something. Just a hint, doesn't have to give the full meaning, but so I've got some thought about where we might be heading. Okay, any more commendations for Mirko? Palavi, you had your hand up before.
It's going to be exactly opposite of what Bev said. I thought the pauses were wonderful, and maybe Mirko is because I never paused, so I thought the pauses in your story was very welcome. And as Sophia said, your ability to mimic voices was wonderful, entertaining.
Thank you very much, Palavi. Yes, and it's for Mirko to decide which of those two points of view he decides to choose. Now, I've got the red light already. I thought the program said I'd get lights at 3, 6, and 9. Are we already up to 9 minutes?
Oh, my apologies. I was giving you, for each speaker, a minute.
Oh, okay. So that's not what the program says. Okay, all right. I'm doing my own timing anyway. Let's move along. Thank you very much, Mirko, and thank you everybody for your comments. We'll move along now to our second speaker, who was Palavi. And once again, I'll call for anybody who'd like to give a commendation to Palavi. Yes, Marq.
I've heard the subject of reflecting on your path numerous times, like I'm sure all of us have. Those speeches in the past have been reports about the pathway. But this was truly a conversation and a speech about the experience of the path and what we could get from it. It was just warm and engaging that had been missing from so many of the other summary speeches that I've heard in the past. It gave me a whole new way of looking at doing this project.
Thank you, Mark. And I have to say, I agree with that. And that was a very interesting, different way of doing this particular project. Any other commendations anybody would like to give?
Yes, I think the thing Palavi has mentioned in her speech, quite professional. The words that she mentioned, for example, like career coaching, conflict management, global working environment. That's all kind of resonate with me. In a very professional way to deliver this speech, and also I see in the previous the feedback on her some of the point of her speech, too much to absorb. I think because I felt that she mentioned quite clearly like 3 points in her speech. That is a kind of a well structured in each one, in each subsection. For me, that's clear.
Thank you very much, Sophia. That's very thorough comment, for that very thorough comment. Now we'll move on to recommendations. And I see Samir's got his hand up. Is that for a recommendation?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Okay. And Sue, we'll take you second.
Yeah. I agree with the prayer comments that this Reflect on Your Path has been a true retrospective, and it was a joy to follow that journey. What I would have loved was more of a roadmap, the signposting. At the beginning, this is a long speech. You can take your time to build that. Tell us what you're going to tell us and call out those signposts in a way at the beginning that are really going to help us understand that hero's journey that you're taking us on. And then in each section, you call back to that first part. Tell us, deepen that story of that journey on it, and it'll pop. Absolutely loved it. The signposting would have just helped take it to the next level for me.
Thank you, Samir. Now, who did I say could speak second? I've forgotten already.
Me.
Sue. Yes, go ahead, Sue.
I'll be brief. I've only written it to Palavi anyway. Was that, again, I think particularly the speech at that length, but even if it was a shorter speech, with all the experiences that she had and spoke about, I'd loved at least one part of that speech to have included a personal story where there were vivid images that we could imagine and in our minds, just to make it the whole impression stronger.
Thank you, Sue. Now, I can see 2 more people with their hands up, but 2 recommendations is enough for anyone. So I'll move on to any more commendations, please. Well, I'll say that I really found this speech refreshing, and I found it's very difficult to give such a long speech, and the speech was just full of content and gave me a real feel for what Palavi's gone through. So, Pemma, do you want to add something?
I absolutely love the metaphor. Spoon-fed people, the only thing they know is the shape of the spoon. That was so on point and so succinct.
Yes, and I actually wrote that down for memory to remind myself. Samir, this last point on Palavi, Samir.
It's a great way to conclude, because it was in conclusion, that line, every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. That strummed my heartstrings. I loved it.
Right, that's great, Samir, and I that's another one I wrote down actually, so I agree entirely. Let's move on now. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Palavi, for your speech. We'll move on now to Beverly's speech. Who would like to give some commendation, please, for Beverly's speech? Sue.
As I already wrote to Beverly, I just felt what could have been a really dull topic was brought alive with her humour.
Indeed, yes. I was a bit worried about this. This is going to be so boring. And it was not at all. Any other commendations? Yes, John.
Well, what I really liked about Beverly's speech was the number of one-liners in there. I was almost falling off my chair with laughter at some of them. This could be a stand-up comedy event at a District 91 conference, I think. If Beverly's ever in town for the conference, she should make arrangements to put that on, because it would be very popular. Great speech.
Indeed. Yeah, what a good recommendation. Thank you, John. Now, any recommendations to anybody for Beverly, I should say? Yes, Pemma.
Please don't cast aspersions on the timekeeper's role. It's one of my favorite roles.
Okay, yes, Mirko.
I really had fun in this speech. What I would recommend is maybe to be showing one line, one promise at a time, not to make us be reading or everything is in there and focusing more on you.
Good suggestion. Yeah. Okay, any commendations that people want to add? Yes, Samir.
I thought that opening really just grabbed my attention and brought me into it. Opening with humor, scouts, oops, wrong promise, and then brought us in. So that I thought that was a really good hook to bring us into it with humor.
Yes, that's great. Anything else anybody wants to say? Commendation or recommendation? Yes, Pemma.
Maybe Beverly could think of doing a special workshop on delivering the Toastmaster's promise. It would go down really well and exactly and keep that blonde wig on. It's amazing.
Okay, with that, we conclude this session. Thank you, Beverly, for your speech, and thank you to everybody for your feedback. And I did enjoy Beverly's speech. What a fresh take on a boring topic. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Agnes, for running that. Okay. And now, of course, is that time of the night where someone who has been listening to everyone, but now has a chance to give feedback to those who haven't received feedback. Our time has come. It's a pleasure to welcome Pemma, who's volunteered to be GE tonight. And of course, first of all, I'm looking forward to hearing one of Pemma's birthday memories. Over to you, Pemma.
When I was a very, 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 very little girl, 2 years old, I think, on my birthday, I was told that I was born on a Tuesday. Since then, it's always been my favorite day of the week. It reminds me of sunshine, of promise, of sparkles, of stars, and everything magical. And from it came out of it in my latter years when I decided that I am in the youth of my senior years. I put out a newsletter called I Love Tuesdays. And there is one person here who actually has been in receipt of that newsletter. Anyway, to the evaluations, to everybody who hasn't been evaluated, as we started late, and as the time, so I'm going to keep this because I have 7 minutes. I love the way Samir started and gathered the meeting up in his arms and put some spring in the step and liveliness and just brought it in together. It was colorful and it started off really well. And this is all about what an advanced Toastmasters Club is. John, as acting president, was very good holding the president's role for Andrew, did that very well and introduced as well. Then Toastmaster Sue. I love it when she is simply herself. She had wonderful Toastmasters questions. She simply is herself. She brings everything, what's and all, and there's no apology in it. And that's what I love about it. Please don't change. I would just recommend that when you make the decision, be really concise, clear, cut it. If you want to say, okay, no more thing, just make it. You are the Toastmasters, so you must make the decisions. Marq meet and greet. You missed one person, Aaron from Ghana, who sort of disappeared at some stage and then he came back. So maybe as meet and greet, just keep an eye out so that you've got everybody on board so nobody escapes. As timekeeper, You did a really great job. Marq, I would identify yourself as the timekeeper and tell people that if they are going to be late, there has to be, because we are an advanced club, we have to be on time. And if you could just tell people you're going to to like put yourself when they have to mark you where you are, and they have no excuse if they don't see you, and on the red, you're going to ring a bell or do something just to tell people and just cut them off. Table topics manager, lovely, well thought out topics. Samir holds the space and is amazing. And I apologized. It wasn't John, that was meet and greet. Reading the sign there, it was Marq. Sorry about that, John. No aspersions to you. That was for Marq. Getting back to the table topics, I would just, as a recommendation, just get your hemispheres right. Okay, it was good fun, but it was interesting to listen to. The evaluators, all three evaluators were on point in their listening skills. They each, in their reflections back, really made me think that they really listened hard and gave really well individual commendations and recommendations. That was exceptional. To Agnes, for the open feedback, I would say, be specific as to how you want it done, so that you're not second guessing that that's the way the club does it. So because you're in charge of it, take control of it and tell the timekeeper, give me the signal there, clarify with them, this is how much time we have, and etc. Give me the 1 point, give me whatever it is. You have to call the shots and just don't guess. For the whole meeting, but having taken it on as the first time, Agnes, and you volunteered for it, I know, very well done. It was exceptionally well done. Thank you. And you gave a lot of space for both the commendations and recommendations. As an advanced club, we just have to pull our socks up with our timings, guys. Just imagine that every single one of us, and I speak for myself also because I went over time on the topic, every single one of us is setting an example to people who come. We have to stay in the confines of what the timing is. But as a club, I thought that we handled tonight very well. We got it together. It's been a really fun meeting. We've all played our roles exceptionally well. All the speeches were delivered. The expressions on the faces for everybody was superb. And I just have to say that I'm on the yellow here. So please, I would say the timekeeper, whoever's the timekeeper, Marq, next time, just mark it and say, okay, now you're going to cut off. You're going to cut people off on the red. That said, it was an exceptional meeting. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And having come back from Jeddah into a very cold, freezing hotel room, I am now very happy to go and put on my winter coat. So back to you. Who am I giving back to? The president, John. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pemma, for that great and very helpful general evaluation. Well, Toastmasters, we've now come to the end of our meeting, haven't we? And have you had a great time? I certainly have. Please indicate if you had a great time. Fantastic. Really good. We started a bit late, but we got through everything, and we finished slightly late, but we're okay. We've got everything done. Now, before I announce the awards of the voting, can I just draw your attention to our next meeting, which is actually going to be not a regular meeting, but a workshop. It's going to be a voice workshop delivered by our president, Andrew Bennett, our real president, not me. Now, some of you may have attended Andrew's voice workshop called Your Engaging Voice. Well, the workshop in 2 weeks' time, on the 25th of March, is going to be a follow-on workshop from that, and it's going to be called Your Expressive Voice. So that's the second half of what Andrew's got to offer. So do come along, mark that in your diaries, and tell all your Toastmaster friends about it. We're going to be publicizing it widely. Our VPPR, Christian, isn't here tonight, but he'll be publicizing it widely across the Toastmaster, and wildly as well across the Toastmaster. So let's get to the point now you've all been waiting for, which is the awards. Right, so let's start off with the best table topics. We had some great table topics responses this year, great table topics speeches this evening, but the best one was found to be Agnes. So well done, Agnes, for best table topics. We also had some great speech evaluations this evening, and the best evaluator by popular vote was OG evaluating Marq. So well done, OG. Great stuff. And finally, the vote for best speaker of this Toastmasters meeting goes to Beverly for her speech, Keeping the Commitment. So well done, Beverly. That's really good. Now, well done to everyone who's participated in this meeting. Now, before I close the meeting formally, can I just briefly put my VPE hat back on? And we don't know what the roles are going to be properly yet for the workshop, so we'll just skip that for the moment and ask you if you'd like to volunteer for any roles for our next regular meeting, which is going to be on the 8th of April. We already have one speaker, but we have 2 speech slots still available, and all the other roles are still available. So would everyone like to put their hand up now for any roles? Otherwise, I'll be bugging you nearer the time, and you really don't want that, do you? Sophia, what would you like to have, Sophia?
Yes, I would like to have a prepared speech.
A prepared speech, fantastic. Thank you very much, Sophia. I'll contact you by email for the details later. Thanks very much. Anyone else? Anyone else like to volunteer for a role? Any of our newer members want to volunteer for anything? Sue is flying out, so are you putting your hand up, Beverly?
No, I'm pointing out the Toastmasters promise to take
Oh, right.
roles.
Oh, yes. Marq.
I can be evaluating, I don't know, one of the
Evaluation.
speakers.
Thank you, Marq. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Anyone else?
I would love to, John, but I'm not going to be able to be here for that session. I would love if someone would be able to make sure that, the logistics up at the front are taken care of.
I'll do that. I'll do that, Samir. I'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. Okay. Well, if no one wants to volunteer now, you risk being bugged by me nearer the time. That's the only thing. You've only got yourselves to blame if you're not going to volunteer now. Okay. Right. Well, let me put my temporary president's hats back on. And just thank you all once again for coming along to this meeting. I'll hang around for a few minutes at the end in case anyone wants to ask me anything or talk amongst ourselves. So once again, thanks very much for coming along. We've had a great meeting, and I hope to see you at the workshop in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much, everyone.
And anyone who wants to just stay